You make at the White House website. Capitol Police response escalates tensions. If you scroll back a little bit more, but when it says Capitol Police response escalates tensions, I mean, that's blaming the cops for what happened that day. Is it not, Scott?
Look, I have a point of view on this that's somewhat different than the president's. And look, I also don't treat it like a national holiday like the Democrats do. It was a bad day, but I don't look forward to memorializing it every year. It's a bad day. It should never happen again. I'm very thankful that we've moved on from that day. I'm also thankful that the American people looked at all of these issues in 2024 and made their political decisions. And then Donald Trump transitioned back into the White House in a relatively normal manner. We appear, at least to my eye, after 25 years of some election denialism in both parties, to have gotten somewhat off of this slippery slope.
Wait.
And so that's a good thing. Do you not agree we're on a better trajectory?
Who's gotten off of election denialism? The president is still, Kaitlan hears him often. He's still talking about that. And the way that we make sure that it doesn't happen again is that all of us, Republicans and Democrats, lock arms and say what happened that day was wrong. It should never happen again. Our leaders should stand up and as they did in the aftermath, but then retreated, some of them, and say, this is not the way a democracy should run. So when you have a White House website that completely rewrites history, that doesn't help put it behind us. That just continues the debate. There should be no debate about this.
Yeah, look, if you're looking for him to stop talking about this, it is not going to happen. I mean,
we haven't gotten past it.
No, but I would ask you, have Democrats gotten past believing that Russia stole the 2016 election?
That's not what we're talking about.
Have Democrats gotten past denying that George W. Bush legitimately won? I'm saying, my point to you is this. Over a quarter of a century, we got onto a bad path, and there were people in both parties who did make it a point to say the election wasn't legitimate. My point is simply this. In 2024, we had an election. The votes were counted. We had a legitimate result. Both parties accepted it, and we had a peaceful transition of power, and that is unequivocally a good thing.
But you're claiming, Democrats who say Russia stole the election in 2016. Joe Biden didn't put up a website on the federal government website saying that Russia stole the election, that Donald Trump wasn't legitimately elected.
So virtually every elected Democrat in the country, if you walked into a Democratic dinner tonight and said Trump won fair and square, you'd be thrown out on your rear end, and you know it. They don't have to put up a website. But what
someone says at a restaurant is different than what the federal government puts up on a DOC-gov taxpayer-funded website.
Look, feel free to disagree with the president's messaging on this. My only point to you, Axe, was this. We were on a path for a very long time where lots of people, and people in both parties just couldn't find it in their heart to accept the results of elections. We did in 2024. I guess over the last 25 years of being in politics, I kind of always wanted there to be a moment where we could all basically agree the election was fair, the votes were counted, and we had a legitimate winner. We have that now, and now we go back and treat this like it's a national, a holiday for some people. I don't personally agree with that. We have to move on from this at some point.
Well, that's a message that you should convey to the president, because he's the guy who keeps repeating again and again, even in occasions where it doesn't make sense, that election in 2020, and he's still looking for justification for it. So he won't let this issue die.
Well, my point to you would be that the vast majority of Americans looked at these issues at the moment. They had the feelings they had. Some were strongly critical of it. Some didn't care as much, but whatever. Then they relitigated this in the 2024 election, and they returned Trump to the White House. And Democrats want to return to this all the time and treat it like a national holiday. And most of the country has moved on from this.
Yes.